Did y'all get a sign saying we're streaming? Yep, there we are. All right. Well, let's share the screen. Welcome, everybody. We're here, starting 4 minutes late. That's terrible. I've never done that before. Anyway, you're welcome. You're at the We Believe in Comics Friday Night Workshop. This is the Sequential Artists Workshop. If you haven't been here before, welcome. We took these workshops over from The Believer when they sort of stopped doing them. The Believer's had ups and downs since then. Mostly now they're up again, so I'm real happy about that. We are a nonprofit. We're a 501c3 nonprofit. You can find our courses at learn.sawcomics.org. We have some things coming up. Next week's Believer Workshop is Draw What You Love with Margot Dubai. This Josh and Hyena class is coming up. I don't think you want to miss that. June 20th through July 20th. It's 4 successive Mondays, I think, live. And those two are great. And then there's a live in-person workshop, the first one we're doing in a long time in Florida, end of July. So you can find out about those at learn.sawcomics.org too. We've got some membership tiers. You're in the free tier right now. This is the fun free tier. And there's some other ones. Flow and Publish. We'll publish anthologies twice a year. There's exercises and mentorship and all sorts of great things. And then a lot going on in the third tier option. We hope you'll share what you do tonight on social media. At Comics Workshop is our Instagram, Friday night hashtags. We use that tag. Jamar is at Jamar_Nicholas_cartoonist, but we'll put that in the chat. It'll be easier. You can also find us at members.sawcomics.org and do lots of sharing there. And also there tends to be a Zoom after party. I'll check in with Susan, but I'm sure that's happening. Your tuitions and your donations really help us, and I really appreciate it, especially the people who donate when they sign up through Eventbrite. People have been doing that. I really appreciate that. It helps us keep these workshops going. What else is next? I don't know. Oh yeah, please no appropriate speech or imagery, and enjoy. I'm really, really, really excited and happy to have Jamar Nicholas here tonight to fill up our creative tank. Stop share. Okay, and this is usually the time, Jamar, where I just sort of like, I'm gonna blink out my screen, but I'll still be here and listening. And if you need some help, just shout out my name. But otherwise, my disco lights tend to take up too much attention, so I turn them off. And I'm just gonna let you do what you need to do.
Oh, thanks, Tom. I'm ensorcelled by those lights, so maybe it's for the best.
Okay. All right, I'm turning them off.
No, it's all good. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name is Jamar Nicholas. I am a professional cartoonist, and what do they call me now? I'm an author illustrator. That's what they're using now in the trades. I'm a Philadelphia-based thank you, Zoom voice.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Cartoonist, an educator. I'm about to celebrate almost 25 years in the industry. Some of the things that have been happening to me lately is over the past 10, 12, maybe 13 years, I've been doing graphic novels. One of my earlier graphic novels that got some notoriety is Fist Stick Knife Gun, which is the adaptation of Geoffrey Canada's memoirs, which came out in 2010, which won a bunch of very cool awards. And I hear that they teach it in social justice classes in colleges all over the country. That's very exciting. It's funny when you're at a show and a teenager comes up to you and is like, "Oh, you drew that book. They made me do homework on that." And I was just like, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen like that." More recently, I have made the foray into kid lit. So I've been doing middle grade graphic novels. The first one not the first one, but the one that I self-published is called Leon, Protector of the Playground. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a story of a 6th grade superhero whose power is common sense. How rare is that? I was very excited to make this happen. This came out in 2017 off of a early Kickstarter. Like, we did a Kickstarter before people knew what Kickstarter was. Half of our campaign time was wasted trying to explain to people what Kickstarter was. So you can find a time frame for that. I was very happy that Leon won a bunch of awards and also the Dwayne McDuffie Award for Diversity in 2018. From the heels of that, I turned that into a book deal. So my next book is called Leon the Extraordinary, which is published by Scholastic Graphics. I have a multi-book deal at Scholastic Graphics. This is the galley arc copy of this. It's not the book. But the street date for Leon Extraordinary is October 4th, 10-4, good buddy. Go pre-order that. It is on pre-order wherever books are sold. I never thought I'd be able to say that in my life, but there you go. And on top of all that, I teach art. So thanks again for having me here tonight. The name of my course is Fill Your Creative Tank. And there's a dad joke in there about gas prices. So I figured it would be a nice way to kind of segue into creative blocks, since we might have to make a GoFundMe to put gas in our cars at this point. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to assume everybody that's in the Zoom likes to draw. You may be a professional, a pseudo professional, an adjacent amateur, something like that. You like doodle, create, you think on paper, things like that. All are welcome here in my workshop. So I have things that would apply to kids if kids are hanging out with us today and they want to draw, and also anybody who's an old timer in between. My lessons kind of run the gamut, so I don't think I'll be speaking over or under anyone's heads tonight. So let's get to it. All right. So I figured I would start off by talking about some creative hacks. My time in the game has really made me understand that time is of the essence. Deadlines are a thing. Some things always do, but also the world is happening around you, right? You have kids, you have the dog that needs to go to the vet, you got to get a new car tire, and just the time you have to draw seems to disappear quickly, right? Some of you may even have like a little window of time in your week where you might be able to sit down at the kitchen table and draw something, but it may get snatched away from you from, your son who comes in the door with a broken foot, right? So, Cal, God, take me away. So trying to find time to draw is one thing, but what I really want to focus on today is when you're stuck. So you have this time, and then if you've ever said to yourself, I don't know what to draw. Anybody in the chat has ever been in that space? And this also applies to writing too, right? So you may be a pure cartoonist, a writer, and an artist who marries stories together with words and pictures. You may be really heavy into writing with, maybe some illustration on the side. I'm going to try to unstick you. And after tonight, you will never be bored again. I can't guarantee that, but I don't want Tom to get sued. So we'll put our best foot forward. So all right, I'm going to try to switch my screen and hopefully this works. Okay, let's see how that looks. Share. Okay, there you go.
Looks good.
All right. I drew this before we got here. How about that? All right. So we're going to talk about 5 creative hacks. All right. So one of my first hacks, and I might switch back and forth here because you can still see me in the windows, right? You can still see me over here, right? Yep. Okay. One of the first things that's super important to anybody and everybody who wants to draw or be an artist or do anything is keep a sketchbook. How many of you here have a sketchbook of some sort? Raise your hand. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like those hands. There's so much more to keeping a sketchbook than just having a place that you draw in. You can consider a sketchbook your sacred space, right? If you have things that you just don't have another place to put them, you can almost consider it like almost like a journal, like a diary journal or something like that, or like a Dear Diary or journal or something like that. I have on my, if you look at my screen now, oh, I'll do this too. This is an old hardback sketchbook. And it's funny, you don't see a lot of, what do you call this? Like landscapes, landscape sketchbooks. But this is old. Look at that. This might be from 2002. I kind of started, I used to start sketchbooks and not finish them. Sorry, this is so close to the screen. But let me see if I can find a page for you real quick. So in this one, I don't know if you can see that, I started doing journal comics. And in this is from 2002. Look at that date. Sorry about my camera. Was a story of me and my girlfriend and I going to the movies, and then the power went out in the middle of the movie. If I hadn't done this, I would not have remembered that at all. So there's something really powerful about sketch journaling. But what I want to get at is keep a sketchbook. Now, also to that point, you don't have to go buy a super expensive sketchbook. You can make your own sketchbook. If you look over here on my camera in the boxes, and also here, here's just a little sketchbook I made with 8.5 by 11 paper and a book stapler and a piece of colored paper. So if you wonder, hey, I've tried to make my own sketchbooks at home, but they don't look that cool, Jamar, what happened? Well, you may want to invest in a book stapler. And I'll put it here. If you've ever seen one of these, it doesn't have to exactly be this one. But what makes a book stapler different from a regular stapler is you see that swivel action? You see that kung fu grip on that stapler? It's basically, it allows you to get the stapler deeper into wider paper so you can staple on the spine. So these are really cool. I have two of these. One is named Laverne and the other is Shirley. They take standard staples, but they take a certain type of size of kind of like a book stapler. So if you do find one, like say if you go on eBay or something like that and get yourself a book stapler, make sure that you can find the right staples for it, because a normal run of staples will jam in it. Or you can even just go and get, at your local Staples. I said Staples again. Like a little journal. I call these back pocket journals. Field Notes is a brand that's really good, and a lot of people use those. There's some clout to them. Or a Moleskine. It doesn't matter. You can keep this in your back pocket. That's probably one of the best things you can do for your practice. And the second is, and we're going to start drawing here, is we'll call this prompts. Okay. So we'll call these drawing prompts. All right. So our first drawing thing, which is more of a writing exercise, is if you have paper in front of you, or if you don't, you can kind of just listen along. This is one of my exercises I do with kids a lot, where you could just take a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and just run a line down the middle. Okay. And on one side of the paper, you're going to write jobs. Come on, camera. And then on the other side, you could write things. Or from Philly, if you're from Philly like me, you can say Johns there. All right, so we don't have to do this now because I know we're on a time limit, but fill this paper with jobs and things. So I'll just do some real quick. So we'll say teacher, we'll say male person, letter carrier, okay, firefighter, spy. All right, and then things could be a mailbox, fire hydrant. This is really all an exercise to see if I know how to spell. Don't judge me. Cell phone, et cetera, et cetera. Let me give me one more, a marker. Okay. So after you kind of made this list, think about how you can mash up these two things and make characters out of it. What would a spy hydrant look like? Or a firefighting marker? Or a letter carrier that's a mailbox? I'd like that. I think that's a winner right there. Tom, are people raising their hands to talk?
They might still be raising their hands from when you said show raise of hands.
Oh, okay. Also, put your hands down.
I did get one comment that the red pencil is a little slight on the camera. If you got a darker one. Awesome.
All right, people. Let me see what I have. All right. Give me 1 second.
Oops. And I'll check on the raised hand thing, but I think that's
that's a little better, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So let's go back to this letter carrier mailbox. Then, you know, right there, you've already kind of created 5 or 6 characters that you can start playing around with, you know. So maybe I'm going to see what I can do with this. And, you know, while we're talking, if any of the 5 hacks that I'm talking about interest you, feel free to start drawing anything that fits your fancy. I don't know why I drew this kind of hat. My letter carrier doesn't dress like a letter carrier. He just looks. He's like these guys. My mailman has cut off shorts, a Phillies cap, and a sleeveless shirt. And I was like, oh, okay. I know he's a letter carrier because he comes out of the truck every morning.
So he doesn't have a West Point hat on.
No, yeah. There's no like Pitfall Harry hat or anything like that. He's a very urban mailman. So, you know, I think this would be funny just to kind of mash this guy up and see, you know, where would his, I guess he would need his, carry his mail. So he would probably have, I don't know, like a bag with his mail in it. Yeah, he needs his coffee. So, you know, just right off of that, I came up with a new character that may be $1 million idea one day. But it's also a great kind of rainy day activity to kind of unstick yourself. If you just can't figure out what to do, make something new. Okay, so let's just go back to this just so you know what I'm talking about. So just jobs, things, mash them up. Okay, there you go. That's number 2. Look at that. Any questions about that, or any? Does anybody disagree? Donnie, were you going to say something? I see your hand up. No? Okay. All right. So another one of my favorite creative hacks is what I like to call fun with markers. And I'm going pretty fast because I know we have some drawing to do. Is there anybody in attendance that does not like to draw with markers? Like some people could just be like strict color pencil people. Also, you have kind of like watercolor types or pen and ink people. I'm going to try to hold this up over here. This is my marker box. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cartooning, bro. So another thing with cartoonists is we have a problem. We collect art supplies. It's a compulsion. I'm not a big loyalist to different brands of markers. Get whatever you can afford. Amazon has changed the game. I don't know if you're like an anti-Amazon. We don't have to get into all of that. but you can get like full 156 set cheap knockoff Copic markers on Amazon or places like that, dumb cheap. And if you're really not, you know, savvy with markers or rendering with markers, maybe it's good to get like that just so you can kind of play around with it. So one of my fun things with markers is if I'm kind of stuck, once in a while, I'll just take a marker and just start making marks. See what I did there? Or blobs, or if you are a pen and ink person and you have access to a bottle of ink, it's really cool if you just take ink and just drop it on a page and see what happens. Or if you take colored ink and then spill it on a page and then with a straw kind of blow it, and you can see it kind of scatter across a page. Or drop ink and then hold up the page and let it run around. And you're just basically making different shapes with it. You know, and there's really no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. But for this, it's almost like a Rorschach test or something like that. From here, my mind starts wandering, and then I might start to make objects or faces in the marker. I'm already excited by this one over here. You know, and you know what I'm doing right now, we haven't really talked about you spending any money. It's just taking what you have laying around and just applying it in a different way. I used to have this book when I taught really young grades about taking household objects and turning them into stamp, like things that you can stamp with. Like if you take certain fruits and cut them in half, like an orange. I don't know why you do this to an orange, but if you took an orange and cut it in half and then dipped it into a thing of ink, it makes really interesting patterns. An old cartoonist trick is to take a kitchen sponge and maybe cut, like snip a little piece off to make little weird shapes and dip it in ink. And then you can make really interesting patterns. That's also a cartoonist trick for making kind of designs on backgrounds. Another one that I've done in the past is using your own fingerprints. So you can take your thumb and just dip it in, smudge it around on the surface, and you'll make some really interesting shapes.
Like Ed and Burley.
Yeah, there you go. You know, right? And it's just, you know, some of the oldest techniques are probably some of the best. You know, they're classic for a reason. Look at this guy. I just made a cool cat. Okay. And I'm hoping some of these things that we're talking about might spark something in you here. I have no idea where this is going. Also with this, if we're talking about real basic stuff, and if you ever find yourself having problems trying to come up with expressions or faces, an old cartoonist trick is keeping a hand mirror next to your table. And you just make goofy faces in the mirror and then act them out and draw them. Probably you modern types may just take pictures of yourself. Instead of a selfie of you with duck lips, take a selfie of yourself, you know, acting out a pose, and then you can just draw that. A very important arrow in your quiver is eyebrows. You can get a lot of expression out of eyebrows. You get it. But yeah, you have a lot of fun with the markers. And then 3, I'm going to kind of jump through because I don't really have that in front of me, but changing up the color of your paper. I'll use this pink paper. If you have a printer in your house, like a inkjet printer or something, you can always go to Staples and get colored paper, right? Or abscond some from your day job and take it home. So you didn't hear it from me. And just, you know, try to create a comic on a different color background of paper or mid-tone. I had some craft paper laying around. I don't know what happened to it. If you can find yourself some white paint markers, doing white designs on colored paper is a really interesting thing to try out as well. Any questions so far? We're just rolling through. I have more stuff. No? Okay. So also before I get through my list, I want to make sure that there may be people in the room who feel like they need a prompt. Like, okay, this is great, Jamar, but tell me what to draw. So if we just go back a little bit, maybe take one of the things that I've talked about so far and see and try to apply it. And I'm going to, my fifth thing, maybe I'll just skip ahead, is to go back to comic journaling. One of my favorite things about doing visual journals of your day, like say make a comic strip out of what happened to you today. This is really good for young people to make them start paying attention to the world around them in a different way. We're all kind of stuck in our phones. We're all kind of like, whatever, tap, 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 swipe. But if your assignment at the end of your day, like before you go to bed every night, you have to draw a 2-panel comic of what happened to you today. You start paying attention to the world in a different way. Oh, okay, we went and got froyo, and then Ricky fell off the curb and broke his ankle. That's kind of extreme. Well, what kind of froyo did you have? These are the important details. You know, who else was in line at the froyo place? You know, what was Ricky wearing before he fell off the curb? You start thinking in a different way when you know you have to recall it later, right? So that's a great exercise to start thinking about now. And if somebody wants to maybe start drawing a little comic of something that happened to them earlier today, or what did you do before you got on the Zoom? I would love to see how that comes out by the end of the session. And so that was 5. So 4 is, let me get a different marker.
So hack 5 is comic journals?
Yes.
Comic.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Hack 5 is make journal comics. Really great web comics that use that technique. Just off the top of my head, Tom knows these cats. Like James Kolchaka has a, I don't know, is James still doing those, Tom? Do you know?
No, he stopped.
He stopped those.
Yeah, I'm not sure when exactly. But
James Kolchaka for years drew a daily comic strip of something that happened to him and people in his life. Where he drew himself. His avatar was an elf, and then other people in his life were either elves. I think his best friend was a dog. I don't know how that worked. They never really explained it. But
robots.
Right. Oh, and there's another cat, Drew Wing, and Drew's amazing, and he finished college doing these things. I think they were called journal comics, and they collected those. They're really fantastic. A buddy here in Philly named Rich Marseille, Marcej, has been doing daily comics about his life for maybe 8 or 9 years, and they're really fantastic. They're all pen and ink, and they're very boring. That's the other thing. They don't have to be exciting, right? You don't have to have you jumping out of a window with explosions behind you. It could be, I ate a peanut butter jelly sandwich and I dropped half of it down my shirt. That's a fantastic comic I would love to read. So my number 4 is, I'll write this. Start a fail book. So a fail book to me is, say you really suck at drawing hands. Maybe you are really bad at drawing hair on a figure. you know, maybe you're not good at backgrounds or drawing mailboxes. Like you can see, I'm an expert at drawing mailboxes. I kid. Maybe make one of these little mini journals, a mini sketchbook, or go buy a sketchbook. Fill it up with the things that you're bad at. All right. So if you're really bad at hands, you can go and get your hand mirror or something like that, or take pictures of your hands and just draw hands and fill up that book with hands until you're a master at hands. That's how we learn to be better cartoonists, by tackling the things we're not good at. Everybody has a story of their early cartoons where, you know, okay, here's the cast of characters of my comic strip. Here's Ricky and Lucy and Betty and Johnny, and they're all have the same face and the same haircut, except they're different colors. And everybody's arms are behind their backs. Right? It's because you don't know how to draw hands and you're afraid. So let's fight the fear, you guys, and start a fail book. And the best part about keeping sketchbooks is you go back to them years later and you go, wow, I was really bad, but I'm so much better now. You have to fight the need to try to be perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. And also, if you get yourself a hardbound sketchbook that you can't rip the pages out, that's for a reason. Don't rip the pages out. The mistakes are just as important as the successes. Okay. So, and I guess if I have time, Tom, I'll do a little number 6 hack. And this is one of my kid things. I usually, when I teach kids workshops, I trick them into drawing and they hate me for it. I call these comic warm-ups. I'll write that down. Oh, I forgot another one. Maybe there's 7. Okay, so the reason I would do cartooning warm-ups is like you want to get the wrist good, you want to get limber so you can really bang out exciting material. So you don't always go in cold. I'm sure a lot of you who like to draw cartoons, you just find the back of the electric bill and you just start going, right? But there's something about warming up first, or even doing loose sketches before you get to your main material. So the cartooning warm-ups is another prompt thing. And it can be whatever you want, but I usually, with the students, will say something like this. Okay, guys, on a blank sheet of paper, draw circles. Fill the page with circles. And they're like, oh, I can do circles. Blip, 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 blip. And then once they're finished with circles, I go, okay, great, we finished. Okay, now draw a face inside every one of those circles. And then they're like, ah, you tricked me. I've got to do art now. But those are also really great for you. Again, you know how we did the marker thing, just making the blobs with marker. Just drawing faces is great. Or they could be aliens, they could be, you know, UFOs, or they could be, you know, tennis shoes, whatever. Just get into the habit of filling a page with something. A lot of cartoonists do what we kind of call them jam pages or jam comics, where somebody just starts something and then you pass it down the line and somebody else adds to it. They also call that the narrative corpse, Tom Hart, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, look, we know stuff here in the Zoom. I'm very excited. And the narrative corpse is where somebody starts a comic with maybe a panel and a character, and then the next person just keeps the story going until it comes to some very weird Mary down the lane conclusion. So I'm going to go back to the red, and I know it's red, guys. I'm going to fix that quickly, but I'm just going to do some circles real quick. If you're kind of new to cartooning and you're like, oh man, these circles are killing me, I can do better than circles. A great way to compose different heads and different facial structures is to overlap another shape with your circle. So what does a square bottom and a circle top do? Like, what about a triangle head with a circle? I'll do a couple of these and then maybe we'll start sharing. Tom, how am I doing?
Doing great. I want to see you do a journal comic real fast.
Oh man. All right.
Got to do art.
I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. All right, let me just draw one of these guys here.
I like that the journal comic you showed was all in the dark. That's a real easy comic to draw, like snowstorm or
right.
dark.
I'm gonna do a whole run called Dark Comics, and it's just all people talking in the dark. Something else that I was going to get to, but we didn't, is I love drawing with different types of markers that have different tips on them. One of my favorite things on this earth, you guys, are calligraphy pins.
Yeah, marvelous.
All right, I'm trying to get that to focus. All right, it says calligraphy, trust me. This is a double-headed Itoya, I think, there you go, where there's kind of like a small chisel, and then that's a small chisel, and there's a fat one. And they also make, other type of, they make a million different type of markers. I also like these Sharpies that are chisel tips. One of my hacks was going to be, and now I can't find it, is go buy yourself a box of Sharpies, just a regular medium bullet tips, and then take a pair of scissors or a small blade and start hacking at the tips of them and see what kind of different points you can make. And then you can create different patterns and designs. And you created yourself a special set of markers just by experimenting with cutting the tips around, if that makes sense. All right, so let me try this. So say this is a regular wedge, right? But what if I, look at me. Right? You just made yourself a double header, and just, let your mind go crazy. Let's do another one. Right? So cool. All right. So now I got to take Tom's challenge. So I'm going to draw a journal comic real quick. But don't let me distract you, you guys. You guys do your own. And then I think it'll be sharing time soon, right?
Yeah.
Or share o'clock, is that what we call it here at the workshop? Share 30. And while everybody's drawing, if anybody wants to kind of tell a story or something, feel free. Or I can just fill the space with my voice, whatever you want to do.
People in the chat are trying to figure out, there were so many ancillary hacks, they're trying to figure out which was an official hack and which was a sort of unofficial hack. It's okay.
They're all
like the colored paper, was that official or an unofficial hack?
That might be unofficial. But, really, if any of these things kind of prompt you to go, oh, wow, yeah, let me try that, then it works, right? Yeah. None of these things will make you go, oh, yeah, I still don't know what to do. I gave you like 15 scabillion things to try out. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Tom, you drawing a strip too?
Oh, you know what? I'm just doing cartooning warm-ups. I'm sort of drawing the same face in the same circle over and over.
It's addicting, isn't it?
Yeah. I get, really excited by like indicating a chin a certain way. So I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
or then I discover, oh yeah, people have eyelids. That's kind of fun. Let's draw some eyelids.
Right. You kind of forget that certain things exist because we all have our own cartooning shorthand, right? Like after a while, you kind of, there's a Tom Hart face, right? And there's a Jamar Nicholas face, so sometimes these kind of hacks or prompts kind of challenge you to kind of draw outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and try new things.
Yeah.
It's real low pressure.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, what if I draw somebody without a nose?
Right. Hilarity ensues.
Or really hairy ears.
One of my favorite parts about all this is just remembering the joy of cartooning. I know for any of you pro people or semi-pro or people that pay you money to do this stuff, sometimes you may forget that this is fun, right? It's just like, okay, but Mr. Smithers needs this art by Friday afternoon. That's not fun. But you have to kind of find your joy. Once you have to kind of relocate your joy once in a while. Tom, are you a kind of like a pencil sketcher, or do you just draw and ink a lot? How do you usually do your stuff?
Oh my goodness. Well, in my sketchbook, just when I'm having fun.
Yeah, just when you're having fun.
Oh, honestly, I'll just pull the closest tool, usually a ballpoint pen, honestly. But my very, 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 very crude comics are done very systematically with about 4 layers of pencils and, and 2 things and stuff. Even though people are like, oh, you just go right to inks, right? I'm like, no, I'm just very crude. I'm trying my best over here.
We're just trying to get through the day, you guys.
Yeah.
So some other things while we're drawing, and we're just kind of filling the air. A lot of young artists ask us questions about, what kind of pen do you use? What kind of pencil? Which is really kind of more of a thing of, like, is there some rite of passage or a special tool you use to be a pro? And really the answer is there is no magic pencil. It's all practice.
I'm sure everybody's wondering if you own an iPad and if you draw on it.
Yes, actually, I don't. I have an iPad. I don't like drawing on it. I have this Samsung Galaxy. Same thing, really. Like, let's not split hairs here.
Is there a good Android tablet that you can?
Oh yeah. So I have. I like the Samsung Galaxy. Like the newer ones are really good. Like the what's it, like the S8. Really what makes all these new Galaxy tablets so great is the pen. They have an S pen. I have one right here. So this is huge. It doesn't even fit in the thing.
Wow.
Right. So the cool part about this is, hold on, you got me, is the pin for these Samsung Galaxy devices. It has kind of like a rubber tip, and you don't have to charge it, much unlike an Apple Pencil. And it feels really good against the surface. My one thing that I don't enjoy about the Apple Pencil, it's hard. It's like a hard thing. And I hate tapping it against the glass. And I know there's some hacks. People can buy like these surfaces that, like a sticker that you can put across the screen of your iPad to make it less skatey. Skatey a word? I just made that up. But I think maybe my biggest thing is to tell people that there's alternatives to everything. So I'm sure you go someplace and they say, oh, well, you need to get an iPad and use Procreate, which isn't necessarily true. There's one, oh, here, check this out. They make, Statler, the pencil brand, makes, this is a digital pen,
what?
Right? And I bought this for my Galaxies. And it has a grip like a pencil, right? And that's just like another plastic tip. Sorry for the bad focus. It even has an eraser on the bottom. And I think if you look, I think there's some Apple Pencil alternatives that kind of will do what you want it to do. That's not necessarily an Apple Pencil if you don't really love them.
Are they interchangeable? Could you use that on an iPad and vice versa?
Not that Statler, no. It was like very specific. Like when I bought it, the box says, use it for this. So, and it wasn't super cheap, so I had to be careful. But go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
Oh, somebody's saying, what app do you use for the Android?
I like Sketchbook is good on Android, and I also like Clip Studio Paint, which is a big cartoonist software package. It's kind of like the new Photoshop. A lot of cartoonists use Clip Studio Paint. It just the things that you would have to trick Photoshop into doing to make comics, Clip Studio just does it. So it's worth looking into. Now, Clip Studio runs on almost all the different platforms now. I think it runs. There's an iPad version, there's an Android version, there's an iOS version for your Apple, your iMac. But I think the Apple version, or the tablet versions, have a subscription. Like you have to pay every month or 6 months. But the desktop versions you just pay for once. It's something to think about.
Yeah, and they're like half off twice a year.
Yeah, they're all. What's good about the people that make this is stuff's always on sale. And it's really worth picking up. And I know there's a lot of like young cartoonists who's like, I don't have no money. There's plenty of things you can find online that'll kind of get what you want. So, you don't always have to just use these very special things. Whatever you can find that works, use it.
And so is Leon, are those digital or analog or both?
Oh, okay. So with Leon, the first book, the Protector of the Playground book, was all analog. It was all pen and ink on illustration board. Leon the Extraordinary was all in Clip Studio Paint. And Leon Extraordinary it's a big Mama Cheeseburger book, Tom Hart.
Cheeseburger.
It's 272 pages. It's a pretty.
You gotta get that many pages done. Digital.
Yeah.
Faster, right?
Yeah. So it was kind of like, do I, go insane trying to do this all on board, or I had to find a workflow. That was probably the biggest thing I had to figure out with this new work. Just as a check-in, I hope everybody's enjoying the seminar, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, so I appreciate that.
I just love watching people draw. Are you sleeping standing up there?
Oh, there's a chair in the back. That's what I'm trying
to do here.
Okay. I had a hunch going on over here in this one.
Oh yeah, right, got it.
Also, if you have old markers that are like dying, don't throw them out. You can always make really good patterns with dried out markers. So everything old is new again.
I love these tips about not being perfect and playing around with your materials.
Yeah, that's where it's at. So are there people in the chat that are kind of like community subscribers? I heard you talk about the subscription, Tom, but are there people that come to every workshop? Or do you have like a lot of new people every time?
I don't know. I almost feel like Susan might answer that better. I mean,
Susan?
we definitely have a lot of regulars here.
Mhm.
I'm not even sure if
Yeah, I'd
Susan-
say a lot of regulars, but we get a couple of new people every time, which is fun. They say, "Hey, I'm new to Zoom," and we love them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good, Susan, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
It's always fun when the kids come or the couples come, where the other person not drawing brings a glass of wine to the person who's drawing.
What? How do I sign up for that?
Yeah, really. I don't know if I saw our well, we have New Zealand here. I don't know if we have Australia here tonight.
Australia in the house.
Oh yeah, Marlene. I don't know if she's here today.
New Zealand.
And then we have sometimes Japanese and people
Wow.
from India for whom it's like 6 a.m.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Should we start letting people raise hands if they want to share something?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready? Okay. I'll so if you'd like to share, yeah, people are starting to share. I think let's let Jamar finish this text here. And then we'll unspotlight. Carol likes watching the drawing. I do too. I can watch people drawing. I just think it's marvelous. Karen D forgot how to raise a hand. Usually it's under reactions. I'm going to raise mine right now. Yep. And oh, paperwork. That's such a bummer. I hope it was for a movie deal or something.
Oh man, you know it.
Jamar, I'm going to unspotlight you.
Yeah,
And then I'm
yeah,
also going to
let's
ask that you raise your hand, because otherwise sometimes the grid and the shuffle gets all strange. But if you raise
Okay.
your hand, I'll push you towards the top.
Okay,
That's
well I'm gonna let somebody else have the shine now.
Yeah, we've got some people who want to share. So I'll just spotlight them. We'll start with Yesha. We'll go to Nikki, Shay, Avon, and sorry if I'm getting names incorrect, but you can let me know if I did that. Here we go.
Hi,
There we
I'm
go.
Yesha. So this is something that happened today. I work at a library, so I had a very enthusiastic 5-year-old reader. I want dragon books. Okay, so do you want books with information about dragons or books with stories? Sorry. Why is it doing this? Anyway, story, I think you get the idea. Stories. And then I looked up some books for him, and then give him the first book, and he looks at it and then he gets mad. No, I wanted dragon cartoon books. And it continued. That's how far as I got.
That's awesome. That's fast. You did a whole page. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, very, very rudimentary.
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's great.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Yesha.
for teaching us.
We'll go to Nikki next. Thanks, Yesha.
Hello.
Hi, hi, thanks very much. I'm the Kiwi.
Hi.
And awesome. Playtime is my thing, so cool. Okay, here's my comic.
Wow. That's fantastic.
And I'll read the thingy underneath. It says, today I was late to Friday night comics because I went out and did a little on plein air of the street in front of the cottage I rent. It was windy and cold and awkward holding the wee concertina in the wild wind. My timer I set so I wouldn't be late. Out of the tree where I put it, where it was resting, into a ditch, and I had to go and fish it out. Glad I went. So that's the image.
Wow, I love it.
Okay, that was so fun playing. And then that's the little on
That's awesome.
play.
Do you have
So-
what kind of watercolor kit do you use? Do you
Look, I've just kind of made it was really awkward actually, and on a really like it's like we've just got storms ripping through because it's the start of winter here, so awkward in the wind. So I just make my own sketchbooks, but I've just squeezed paint into what are these? Oh yes. You know how in your fridges you have little egg containers
Yes.
to put your eggs? Well, I never put my eggs in the fridge. So I just squeeze the paint into there and it just dries out and then easy to hold. You just like how I hold it is I've got the wee sketchbook and then
wow, that's another hack. I love it. So many hacks. Thank you. Thank you for sharing it.
That was fun and I apologize for being late to your class.
Oh, all good. All good. Thank you. And I love your glasses.
Thanks.
Awesome. We'll go to Shay next. Here we go. There we go.
Hi, I
Hey.
kind of went along with what you were saying, and I doodled. I had for my little double-sided list. It was a puzzle piece and an artist. So I have a puzzle piece that's drawing.
I love it. That's fantastic.
And then I was trying to mess with my markers, which is just my son's like washable markers.
Yeah,
The ones I have. And this is like I turned this orange into a little mouse unicycling, and that was a doodle of my thumbprint, what I thought it would look like, and that's a chicken.
I like thumbprint
That's
chickens.
So cool.
And then for the little journal, I did my son. I'm so proud of him because he graduated 4th grade today. We do homeschool.
Oh,
So, we don't get to have a big ceremony with everybody.
right.
So he loves video games. So I got him pre-ordered Mario Strikers for the Nintendo Switch. It just came out today.
Oh, wow. What a lucky guy. I want Mario Striker.
Well,
Oh,
the good thing is we don't go out a lot, but we splurge on our video games. That's where everyone's got their little thing that they splurge on, and for us, it's video games.
I love it. We're of the same cloth. Cool. Thank you so much. That was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, this is great.
Cool. We'll go to Avon next, or Evan. Here we go.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Yvonne from Alaska, and I tried your first hack.
Uh-huh.
So I had teacher and fork, and so I have a fork teacher.
I love it. Are the tines going through the paper at the top?
Yeah, it's turned in their assignments that way.
Oh, I love it. That's fantastic.
And are political cartoons allowed?
Sure.
I did my daily journal. If it's not, just turn me
Give it a
down.
shot.
So I'm still working on it. The Alaska ballot, I cast my ballot for U.S. Congress today.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited. The Alaska ballot has 48 candidates.
Wow.
Bottom, I did not vote for Santa Claus or Sarah Palin.
That's fantastic.
Still in work.
Oh, and another watercolorist. Wow, that's really great. And I love your studio space.
Oh, thanks. I have it set up for Zoom kids.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing.
Great. We'll go to Karen D next, and then Betsy, then Jackie, then Michelle, then Ann. Here we go.
Right. Okay, hi.
Hello.
All right. I used to do the believer ones, but I haven't been since you started doing it. So this is a first. I haven't been doing this for a long time. And I'm not an artist, but this is what I did. I wrote before, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, we see it.
I felt like this is me in bed. I screwed up, blah, blah. I don't think oh yeah, I can't even read this. I'm tired, maybe I won't go. But I was tired and I didn't want to take a nap, but I was on my phone, of course. That was before. And then after or during, I guess, joy, fun with, I was like, I had so much fun. I just have to feel really, I have these they're not markers. They're called, they're for kids. They're, I forget what they're called. Anyway,
Are the Posca paint markers? Is that what they are?
they're paint sticks. Like now I see they're everywhere, but it's some brand. Yeah, paint sticks.
Oh,
Tempera.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it feels so good. I can't even tell you. So I was just when you were doing, I had so much fun in this. I don't know, like I was writing the notes. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. And just doing this just brought me to such a great feeling. So I just felt joy, and all these hacks really were exciting. So I was really excited. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. That's a great page too. Wow, that's what it's all about right there. That's a success. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. We'll go to Betsy, then Jackie, then Michelle, then Ann, then Kate. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Thank you guys. It's been really fun. I'm just going to show you the one, this guy. I did that ink spilling thing.
Wow.
And it was just so fun. And I don't like to draw. So this is really gets me excited about it, especially when you say stuff like, it doesn't really matter, just have fun.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I like that ink wash too. That was great.
Yeah. Thanks for telling me.
Thank you.
All right, we got Jackie up. There we go. Oh, muted. Wait.
This was my hack with there's an arc welding donut.
That just tickled me. That's fantastic.
And such, junk with shapes. And this was the faces out of the shapes that I made. And then this for my daily journal thing is I just did a 2-panel thing. It's my daughter and me, and my daughter's autistic, so I get a little frustrated with her sometimes. Like, like, what do you want? Like, I mean, she doesn't have a lot of verbal expressive skills, so I get like,
wow,
what do you want? So that was just me getting kind of a little.
Right, you kind of get it out of your system through the cartooning, right? That's cool. Yeah. That's what it's all about. That's fantastic. And I like. Is that marker wash? What's the gray? Is that
the gray? Is I went to Michael's this week to pick up totally something different, and they had all of these great markers. Like they came in a set, and they were more expensive, but buying them in the bin of things that had been taken apart.
Yeah,
like they were only $1. So it has a brush end on one end, and then I just use my regular Staedtler marker for the
fantastic
other stuff.
That looks great. Yeah,
Thank
I love your style too. Thank you so much.
All right, great. We'll go to Michelle next. Here we go.
Yo, what's up, family? What's going on?
You want to start?
Sure. I drew the teacher as a pencil.
You want to come watch? There's kids.
And I drew I'm just floating above my sister, and she's staring at the ground, and I'm staring at her.
Wow, look at that. That's fantastic. Such skill too. Even see looking down and everything. That's really great. Oh, there's more. Give me more.
I drew one of the mail carrying mailboxes too.
That's great. You may have the next Scholastic book deal in your hands right there. I love it.
I did one too. This is my day. This is our cat saying she's itchy. And then this is me swimming laps in the pool.
That's great. Hey, that's awesome. Do you all think that you'll keep doing journal comics? Did you like that? Was that fun?
Yeah, I think we will. This was really fun.
That's really cool. And I'll give you something to leave with. If it feels like you don't want to do it all the time, maybe do one every Friday. Like see what happens. Do one at the end of the week.
That's a great idea.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I agree. Let's go to Anne, please. Let's see. There we go.
Hi, Anne.
Oh, you might be muted.
Oh.
Hello.
I've never shown my work before.
That's you're good. That looks great. Tell us what we're looking at here.
If a fire hydrant, I was doing that prompt, and I was going to make it sneaky, and then I didn't know where to put its face, and so then I always wanted to experience the.
Wow.
And you see the kids getting blasted with the.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know if people do that, but it just sounds awesome. So that was.
wow. Well, what did
never shared. I don't think I'm holding it properly.
Oh no, it's good. What did you draw that with? Is that?
Oh, okay. Oh, that my hack is the $1. They have gel pens. You get like 3 for $1, and sketchbooks for $1, and
yeah,
everything for $1.25 now. But you don't care how much paper and pens you go through.
Right. No, that looks fantastic.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Kate next. Here we go.
Hey, Kate, what's up?
Hey, thanks so much for this. This is a lot of fun. I had
Awesome.
fun with the ink blots.
Yeah.
Little critters.
Love me some critters.
And then I did the 2-panel one.
Oh, wow. That's great.
It was about getting new glasses so that I didn't have to take them off to look at things up close, but not being able to remember that I had them.
I feel seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And I love your glasses. Good job on those glasses. Thank you so much.
All right, we're gonna go to Sarah next.
Hey, Sarah. Can't hear you, Sarah.
I am unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. This is my first event, and I'm pleased to share my work with you. So I did the first prompt, which was the mix of the 2 columns. I did the fire hydrant as a teacher. So it is, books are coming out instead of water.
Yo, I like that. I like that a lot. That's fantastic. I like the glasses on the bridge of the nose too. That's great.
And then for my 2-panel daily comic, since this was my first saw event, I thought it was special, and so I drew myself drawing. So if you can see that, but
oh wow,
there's me, or if that's backwards to you or not.
No.
There's birds out here. I'm sitting outside of my porch, so.
Oh, I like that a lot. That's now. Did you ink that with a brush?
Yes. So the brush that I used, I believe it's the Copic Acid Feud, and I used your hack. I probably said that wrong. I think it's a German word, but I used your hack. This is actually a really old brush pen that I have, and gone out a number of times, and every time I come back to it to do practice, it's always like magically filled up again. So it's a great hack.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I like your inking style too. It's very strong. Thank you so much for sharing, and welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. We'll go to Jeff, then Francis, then Susanna. Here's Jeff.
Yo.
You're muted too.
Fix that sound.
There you go.
Thank you, guys. I'm going to switch. I went crazy on the old circle idea. I love that idea. So let me see if I pull it out here. Okay.
Yo, I love it.
Right? But it's like, I couldn't fill the whole page, but I almost got there,
Yeah.
And I just, you know how it is when you're streamlining this stuff and you're kind of going, what do I draw? What do I draw? So I just, my general obsessions like mushrooms and cigarettes and funky little characters and shit. So it was a lot of fun though.
I love how everybody kind of has a default. Like there's something in our brains that always goes to like 1 or 2 things. That's really, and tell me about the gray wash. Did you do that first or did you do that?
Oh, I did it afterwards. I realized it was so chaotic and crazy. I better like fill in some of the background so that it pops a little bit, right? Just took a couple Arteza markers and just did a little bit of shading, just to mess with it. But yeah, I know it's crazy. It's all over the place, but it was fun, man.
No, it looks fantastic. Thanks so much for sharing. I love your design style. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Cool. We'll go to Francis next. Hi, Francis.
Hey, Francis. It's the mute show.
I have 3 screens.
It's all good.
Bear with. I'm going to try to share and let's see what it does. What it do?
What it do?
Oh, we're disabled screen sharing. Okay.
Oh.
That's not going to work. I'm all digital. Sorry, folks.
I can enable it real fast.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Hang on a second.
Sure.
Okay, try it now.
All right, let's see what happens. What does it want to grab? Where is it coming from? Here we go. All right. How does that look? Can you guys see it?
I love it.
Awesome. Cool. So here's what I grabbed off of the first exercise. I was taking notes at the same time, so I didn't get a lot of drawing in, but I immediately go to like really cursed objects. So like, what if the fire hydrant, oh my gosh, fire hydrant was possessed by the spirit of a firefighter and was just doing its best to show up to everything and put it out. Terrifying, right?
Yeah,
then,
I love it.
Yeah, and then the color block, try to find one of the big downsides I've found with just going digital is you don't get the randomness that you get with material medium because you don't have like the chaotic factor of, flow and wicking and, different interactions between materials.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to break these pens.
Yeah.
Kind of mess with the pen dynamics a little bit. So I'm using some kind of more chaotic sprayers and things like that. And then the 3 larger figures are from the circles exercise.
Oh,
and
cool.
Just trying to grab larger, chunkier, less detailed things to draw with just to get more kind of an organic feel. But yeah, takes me back. So I really appreciate the reminder that sometimes it's the oldies are still goodies because it's easy to forget about that stuff.
Thank you so much. And you know what, let me ask you a digital question real quick.
Sure.
Do you find that having every tool imaginable in front of you at one time kind of freezes you with choice?
100% the issue with digital, and I've gone round and round on this. I'm an old school Photoshop user from like the late 90s, early 2000s. Put it down for a long time, was a tattoo artist. Came back to it and picked up Clip Studio because Photoshop, like, God, they want your firstborn child and, a blood sample every month. Those people are crazy. So Clip Studio is a really great program. I'm all the way at the top level, so I've got the animation tools.
Yeah.
The problem is exactly what you said. There's so many options. You can just spend hours just tweaking tool settings and playing with how things interact. And so really what I'm working on now is, kind of creating, there's an option to create like a desktop setting that's like a preset.
Like a workflow, like a workflow.
Right. Well, kind of like a workflow, but it's more like you don't see everything that you could possibly have displayed. You can customize and remove things. Okay. So I'm trying to like cut it down to just like the core of what I need. And then like slowly add things back in until I have it streamlined for specific projects. So it's a little bit different from workflow in the sense that it's less about like, oh, this is the sequential order that I'm doing things in. It's more about reducing visual clutter, reducing the options, because I mean, like, I know me personally, most of my creativity comes from having to figure out how to do something without necessarily the most ideal circumstances or tools. Gotcha. And, it's kind of like a little bit of too much of a good thing is just too much, too many options. Right. Exactly.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate
Thank you. Thank you for teaching this. This has been really fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I think I'm going to have to, can you stop screen sharing?
Yeah, turn it back off. I'm trying to figure out on my end. Sorry.
Okay. I think I can figure it out, but let me see. There we go. I think I did it. Okay, so we're going to go to Janice next, and then we're going to go to Susanna. I got it a little out of order. Here we go.
Hey, Janice.
Hi. I like this exercise. I thought it was fun.
Thank you.
So I did a little mashup here of microbiologist in the microscope.
That's fantastic.
And then I played around with the thumb shapes and the sponge shapes,
Oh yeah, yeah. Look at that. That's great.
in them different things.
What did you do to use the color? Like, is that watercolor? What is that?
It's a ballpoint pen. It's one of those multi.
Oh, okay. Wow, cool. That looks
have-
really bold too. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then I did a little panel of my day.
I love the cartoon of you. That's fantastic. Where are you that it's so hot?
I'm in the California Delta, which is in the valley almost.
Wow. Yeah, it even looks
So,
hot in your cartoon. That's fantastic.
I'm hot now.
That's great.
I can't tell you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that. That's great stuff.
Okay, we'll go to Susanna next. Let's see. There we go.
Unmute myself. Okay. Hi.
Hello.
I took I got in a little late, and I started with the list that you gave of things, sort of sheets and things and jobs.
Yeah.
And I'd been wanting to do something about trying to negotiate with people when you want them to wear masks in a place that doesn't usually. So here's the Lyft driver. And this is a conversation where I'm trying to persuade a Lyft driver to put on a mask. And I asked my friend Skylar, who wears a lot of cowboy clothes, if he would send me a photo of him behind his car, because he's driving to California. So this is Skylar. So as we were doing this workshop, I turned Skylar, I made him the Lyft driver.
Oh, I love reference. That's fantastic. That's great. That's oh, and is that watercolor also? I see you tape down your page, right?
Yeah, I've been putting the watercolor on as I've gone along. I have a few different watercolors that I use. The fluorescent, and then I'll probably put markers over it.
Oh, okay.
But these are the other like one is Mozart, and yeah, I'm trying to, like, I sort of have the pencil here. The hardest thing, Skylar's going to send me more pictures tomorrow. I asked him to wear one of his cowboy shirts with snaps on it, and to show me a picture of the cowboy hat from like outside the car looking in. So it's going to be this whole conversation of, explaining, I need you to wear a mask, and the cowboy sort of a cultural thing in Colorado.
Yeah.
An independence cultural thing.
Wow. That's fantastic. I would love to see like your whole sketchbook filled with this story. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to Mishka next. Let's see if Mishka did the thing where she takes a picture of it and it's on her background.
I think about it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So I was inspired by your sponge idea, which reminded me of Ed Emberley.
Hang on, there we go.
And I didn't have a sponge, so I used a sock.
That's my sock. I was looking for that.
I'll send it right over.
All right.
And then because everybody had this is sort of a fantasy, like all of us are together again.
Oh, wow.
Big parties. But then inspired by people making the diary comic, I thought I should add some dialogue and some like little private moments that people are having. So
wow, that's really.
Oh wow, I've missed this. Too loud. Where's my dog? Achoo, because there's a cat. Oh, I love this beat. I am yelling. This is the spot. This is my song. Best party since 2019.
I love it. I like the cat panel. It's my favorite.
Okay, great. This is I didn't get much done because I had to go find all my
Yo, you got the whole box. You're ready. I love
box of pets.
I love it.
Donated
Awesome.
by my neighbors who throw them away all the time.
Oh yeah, that's a good pick. Cool. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I love to.
Thank you.
And Aleph, how are you, Aleph?
Hi, Jamar. Hi, Tom. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
So I decided to go do a face. And I had an ice cream earlier today. So this is actually a picture of a Magnum bar from a magazine. So I say it was a rough day trying to recover from a busy week, split into pieces, many pieces. And she says to me, she lost one of my eyebrows on her table. So, but Jamar is right. You can get a lot of mileage from eyebrows, even just one.
Oh, I love it. That's fantastic. Do you do a lot of collage?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's real. I love the symmetry of it too. It's a fantastic page. And I don't know if anybody ever compliments you on your handwriting is fantastic.
Oh, that's actually huge. Thank you. It's normally very terrible. I was very careful. Thank you.
No, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aleph. All right, we'll go to Iris and then Cheryl, and then we'll call it a night. Thanks so much, Jamar, and thanks everybody for holding out.
Yeah, no problem. Where's the time go?
Hi.
Hello.
I just wanted to show real quick the idea of I did my day today, and I did a little pop book.
What? Yo, you did all that during the session?
I didn't do the last page. I'm gonna have ice cream. I'll draw that.
Okay. Wow. Do you have a background in kind of bookmaking and things like that?
No, I'm just an elementary art teacher.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Question answered. That's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you going to now? That's all pencil, right?
Yeah.
But the cover you did in a gray tone. Is that what I'm saying?
No, I just did it. I shaded it.
Oh wow! Look at that. Yeah, I would love to see that finished.
It's fun. I love what you all do with the markers. I have to get confidence.
Yeah, just go get you some bummy markers and just play around with it. Don't worry about getting the most expensive things. That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Iris. And Cheryl. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I started kind of doing sketches and then wasn't really inspired. And then when people started sharing, I tried to draw them in like 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And so these were
those are
kind of
great.
The last Mishka, the last person.
Is what are you drawing with? Is that an ink pen or like what?
This is my favorite. It's Pentel.
Yeah.
Kind of springy, plasticky.
Those are the stylos, right? I think I have
Yes.
some of those. Yeah, I have. I love those. That's a great line. And what's going on with that red paint? What's that about?
I got my ink out
Mhm.
and it came out as a giant blob and it was a mess.
Hey, you know what? So that's a happy accident in my book. Awesome. That looks great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
I'm so inspired by you guys.
I'm gonna try and find. There's Jamar.
Oh, hello.
Great. So, wow, Jamar, thank you so much. This was really, 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 really fun, and
What?
definitely the most we have geeked out about materials ever. Like, the most we have talked about pens and markers, and it's been real fun.
Wow, great. Thank you, Tom. You're a great host.
Oh gosh. So tell us again when Leon the Extraordinary comes out. You have the arc. We're all real jealous already.
I know, right? Leon the Extraordinary will be in bookstores everywhere October 4th. You can go ahead and pre-order that wherever you buy books or support your local bookstore also. Go and tell them, yo, I need that Leon from Scholastic Graphics. And they're going to be like, yes, sir. But yeah, I'm very excited. And this is the first book. There's several more to come. So I hope you guys get used to my stories. Thank you.
I know when people get on that like 2 or 3 book deal sort of train, they get real busy and they're like, don't bother me for 3 years. Is that how it's going to be for you, or?
Some tunnel vision. Well, you know what? It's love doing this. Like I love meeting people and, you know, talking about craft and, you know, inspiring people. So I always make room for these. So Tom, I would love to come back if you'll have me.
Oh my gosh, of course, of course. You'll definitely hear from me immediately after this.
Okay. I'll be back next Friday.
Yeah, right. So anyway, we usually hang up by going to gallery view, everybody unmuting and just thanking Jamar for this great workshop, and look in the chat for Susan's after party if you want to make it over there. But everyone give us a unmute and thank Jamar. Thank you so much. Look for the-
I hope you do come back. Come back.
Thank you,
Jamar.
Have a good
night.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you. Maybe I'll see you guys on social. I'll see you around.
Yeah. Don't forget. I'll post that in the chat real fast before we close it out.
I know that's not you.
All right. Awesome. Hey guys.
Stuff. All right.
Thanks so much. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.